Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great evening. It is Taco Tuesday, and I hope all your taco dreams come true. So, I get called out a lot. Okay, people people literally go after me. It's actually I don't know how to feel about it. You know it's bad when Lion fans come after you. Okay, so let me give you a taste of some of the stuff that I get, because I got 40 Whiner fans that are saying that I'm praising the players like they're gods or something like that. I get Eagle fans. Well, you know about the Eagle fans, and things like Philadelphia that comes in here and, of course, uses like 50 emojis every time he makes a comment. But this is Ben. In the email that he sent me, it says called out. And this is crazy. And I'm going to get to Mazi Smith in just a second, so just hold on. I just want to give you a taste of what it's like. Anybody who's out there aspiring to be, a YouTuber, this is some of the stuff that you end up dealing with. Hello, man. At least he was nice enough to say hello before, he kicked my teeth in. Now that I am here, this is kind of like saying, I mean no disrespect, which means the disrespect is coming. On behalf of, if you guys run into the Lions again anytime soon, I'm confidently the biggest Lion fan that watches you. Mark my words, we're scoring 50 on you, hee. 50, hee. Okay, mark my words, you guys are done. I'm predicting the Cowboys fourth in their division. Damn, they're saying that the Giants are going to be better. You can come back to this when you lose to us next year or the next time we play each other. Dak is the biggest reason why the Cowboys suck. And the fact is that you fanboys defend him no matter what is disgusting. Get off his pants, buddy. He's not even a top 30 quarterback. Not even a top 30. Seriously? Okay. He would work for a decent, slightly below average third string quarterback. He would not even make our team's quarterback group or the Eagles or Commanders quarterback room for that matter. I will be watching your videos, of course, to see your downfall and hear your thoughts. I can't wait until you have to say I was right, which I mean goes without saying. Go Lions. Hopefully, this is our year. My confidence is pretty high. Yeah, I would not even put Prescott in the top 30 quarterback list. He might not be as good as Daniel Jones, though. Have a good day. That's a lot of talk for a team that's never won a Super Bowl. I'm just saying. And with the way that offensive line is, the interior of that offensive line, you may see the Rams' Jared Goff come back to the surface. And now that your coordinators are both gone elsewhere, I might not be quite as confident as you are. But hey, I'm just a Cowboy fan here. So Matt Eberflus, okay, our defensive coordinator, everybody has sent me clips of Mazi Smith getting pushed around in training camp and practice and things and talking about he's a bum. Now, I want to remind you that, I know that I've lost 15 pounds. You heard that, right? 15 pounds, or at least before I got on vacation. And I have to say, I feel totally different than I did with the 15 pounds. And here's what's amazing to me is I used to throw shot put. Okay, in high school, it was a 12-pound shot put. In college, it was a 16-pound shot put. And when you pick up that shot put and carry it around and say, that's how much weight you lost, you're like, oh my God. Because just try walking around carrying a shot put all day. That's literally what that weight is when you carry that weight. And it's different when you lose it, okay? So Mazi Smith, who got to Dallas, and he was about 340 pounds. They immediately said, we want to make you a pass rushing nose, and we want you to lose weight. He loses 40 pounds and just kind of gets forgotten. Then he gets Mike Zimmer and crew in there that basically say, We're going to unlearn him everything he learned before, and we're going to start over. And now you've got Matt Eberflus, who's now having him lose weight again and saying, we want you to be a pass rusher. These are all things that he did not do before he got to the NFL. So there is a learning curve. And I'm not going to sit here and try and BS you and say that he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I'm pointing out that he is having to learn things that he's never done before. Just saying, okay? And Matt Eberflus, we just had the coordinators' press conferences, and Matt Eberflus actually talks about that as well as some other things. And I want to bring you a few minutes of that press conference because I think it's actually very, very important. Let's go to the tape.
Yeah, the defensive line and Coach Whitecott have done a really good job of rotation with the defensive line. And I think it's really important that we keep those different combinations going, because I really believe that, rushing is 4 equals 1. And really playing off each other is a really important thing to do as defensive line, and you don't do that without just getting the same guys next to you all the time, and it's harder for the offensive line as well, to be able to go against different rushers, inside, outside, different combinations. Very well. The reason we drafted Donovan was what we're seeing now, and that is work ethic, talent, balance, power, speed, and that's what we see. And he's a wonderful teammate. He's grinding every day and doing a nice job of progressing.
Clientele DLLS Cowboys. Can you talk about Mazi and his development year 3? You got third different
kind of sits up.
Third different system. How is your system going to enable him to maximize his potential?
Yeah, Mazi's done a really good job picking up our system. It's a little bit different than what he was doing last year. So I think that he likes that. He's embracing that, and he's working to get better at it. The biggest thing I think is learning how to play with leverage, with power, quickness. He's got all the talent that he needs, and once he learns that, it's a day-to-day process, right? You get better every day, you grow, you learn, and he's going through that process right now.
Losing the weight, he's down to 310. Is that optimal for what you want him to do?
Yeah, I think that, our strength staff, H, and the guys do a great job with those guys, pushing them, getting them right with nutrition. And I think we have a wonderful staff there as well. But, it's important that guys, we like, and Will McClay knows this, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is that I know he likes what I like. He likes long, lean, and fast. And we'll try to get the best, each guy that way.
Matt, Todd Archer of ESPN.
Hey, Todd.
Nice to see you again.
How's it going?
Couldn't get my name out. Do we make too much of size when it comes to run defense?
Yeah, I think you need size at certain spots. The double teams happen on the inside, as we know. So you're talking about 600 and plus versus 300. So those guys do have to be stout inside there to be able to hold and anchor the point inside the middle of your defense. But on the outside, I think that you could have a couple of different body types that can really function well to set edges, to create good edge to the defense in terms of defensive ends. But inside, you do need size.
I think 8 of your 12 years, the last 12 years, you've got a run defense that's been inside the top 10. What is the key right there?
Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork. It's not just the inside guys. It's not just the outside guys. It's everybody. To have an elite run defense, it's going to take everybody. And one of my mentors, and you guys know him well, used to say, "No house guest," Coach Marinelli, and that's true. And that starts with, we'll be a good tackling team when our corners tackle, and that's important. Because all the schemes nowadays make your corners tackle. So our guys will be a good tackling bunch, and we work on that daily.
John Machota with The Athletic. Speaking of your corners, you obviously have some injuries with Diggs and Revel, and now Keelan Carson. What's your concern level with the cornerback position right now?
I always look at that as opportunity first, because you get a chance for the guys that are competing to step up and move into that ones or twos, which they wouldn't normally be if the starters are there. So those guys have great opportunity to show what they can do. Obviously, when you're missing starters, starter types, starter talent, that's always a concern. And but we're doing a good job of working guys in there and really evaluating guys. That's the process we're going through right now in terms of evaluating every single guy as we evaluate our scheme and evaluate the skill sets. So it's a good chance for us to be able to look at other guys.
And then during practice, a lot of times when you're calling the defense, DeMarvion Oberschon's been right next to you. What have you kind of learned about DeMarvion? What's he able to kind of get out of you guys being next week?
Yeah, he's super smart. He's got really good, football intelligence, and it's a pleasure to work with him. And we just kind of talk through the play. I give him the play, make him make the calls. What are you seeing there? And then I just give him a nugget or two afterward of, hey, if you see that, this is what you're looking for there, and just trying to help him play faster once he gets back in. And I'm excited to work with him when he gets back. So I know that, once we get our hands on him, we're going to be able to help him in terms of efficiency of movement and taking that talent level and bringing him closer to the football. And I'm excited to work with him.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Obviously, a lot of defensive end talent that you have on your roster, and you've got some blitzing linebackers as well. As you build this pass rush plan, how fun has it been able to use these pieces and figure out what's best?
Yeah, we're in the process of that, right? And, football for me is always fun. Anytime I'm on the grass, I don't really like being inside. You put me in that trailer over there, man, it's not that great. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But, man, when you get on the grass, that's a lot of fun. So I enjoy what I do. I've always have. I love teaching these guys, coaching these guys. But that's part of the process we're in, right? Like I said on the onset, the different combinations, what guys do well. Is a guy a good inside pressure player, be it from D-line standpoint or an inside linebacker? Can he pressure from the inside? Is he better on the edge? Same thing with the safeties, with the corners. We believe in sending everybody at some point on the first level, second level as a pressure player, and we're looking to see what the guy's skill sets are in doing that.
Based on what you saw on film, Kyrie, and Buffalo, based on the product you're seeing, you kind of acquired, what's been the biggest difference why he has success?
Yeah, he's just work. His work ethic is great. His buy-in is awesome. And he's doing a wonderful job with our techniques. The guys that we had, David Overstreet and Andre Curtis, have been with me for a while. And they understand the techniques and understand, what we're asking, in terms of the coverages. But also having the understanding of, looking and evaluating each player and their skill set and how to fit our scheme into that skill set. So those guys do a great job with each individual guy. And I'm excited about working with Kyer.
Cowboys.com. Journey more or less begins heralded linebackers coach for the Cowboys, DC, Indy, head coach of Chicago. You're back to take over DC duties in Dallas. At this point in your career, other than the obvious Super Bowl, what motivates you and what pushes you to keep going, especially in 2025 in this industry?
Yeah, great question. I would say that it's changed over the years. I think when you're young, and I started coaching when I was super young. I had just turned 23 years old at the University of Toledo. So my idea of what I was doing there was more ambition, than gratitude, if that makes sense. So now I'm grateful for the journey that I've been on, and excited to have the opportunity to have that journey, to be able to learn, to be able to grow, not only in football, which is my vocation, but in my faith, in my family, and that's what I stand on, and then my vocation, which happens to be football, and really to pursue excellence every single day. And I tell the players this all the time: you're pursuing excellence every day in those three facets: your faith, your family, and your vocation. We're sitting here in a football meeting, so we're doing football. I said, but that is not a soft statement. To be excellent, to be elite, to master your craft. Okay, in all three of those areas, that's a job now. So those guys are doing that, and that's really what I try to do every day, and learn and grow in those three areas, and so that I can help others do the same. And that to me is really what motivates me every day. And it's a day-to-day process, moment-to-moment process. And but yeah, it's more gratitude, over ambition, as I was when I was younger.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Cowboys had 8 corners to start games last year. You kind of talked about the evaluation process with some of these other guys.
a couple guys they had to add last year as they went on. Is it easier to evaluate potential depth pieces and guys you may need to count on later in the year now in training camp than it is during the season?
Well, that's part of the process. We got those guys in there now that are playing, and I think that it's going to be good. You know, it's going to be good. You always have to understand, and if you know, players are in or players are out, because that's part of football, right? You're going to lose guys during the course of the year. You're never going to be at 100%. You have to learn how to move your scheme to fit the skill set that you have. Mm-hmm. And I understand at some points you got to cover people, right? And that's you know, it's like a quarterback. At some point you got to throw in the pocket. It's the same thing for a corner. At some point you're going to have to cover. But we're just evaluating that right now as we go, and it's a good thing. And again, there's a lot of talent on this team, and I'm excited about working with those guys. But again, you can't ask a guy to do something that he's not able to do. You got to ask him what he's good at. So.
Yeah, they need to take that advice with Mazi, because I don't know that Mazi, being a pass rusher, is what he does well. You know, the one thing that he does that he was famous for, we're not doing. That's the crazy thing about this. But I guess they'll get it figured out, and if they don't, well, we'll know about it as the season rolls on. We'll be talking about some other things with, like, Caden Adams, who's talking about how great Jaden Blue is. We'll do that a little bit later here, because we had people that were saying that he's borderline lazy. Yeah, I'd like to know where that jackass is right now. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I got to get out of here.
Can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself.